She began her career at KCBS as a senior in college and went on to Cron 4 and CBS 5 before returning back to KCBS, where she is today. You can tune in to hear her at a scene of a protest, an event, or any type of story on 740 AM or 106.9 FM. Tonight we welcome reporter Anna Duckworth, who has been working in the Bay Area her entire broadcasting career. Thank you so much for being here, Anna.
Thank you for asking me. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
So let's start off. Where exactly did you get your start in radio?
Well, I got my start at KCBS. Well, actually at KEZR. I interned at KEZR in San Jose my senior year of college, and that's where I kind of got my chops, I guess, in terms of news. And they had me do writing for the morning newscasts, which were about 5 minutes every hour during morning drive. So I was writing at first, and then I got the distinctive title of assistant news director, which basically meant when the news director wasn't able to fill in, I was able to go in there, and I was in charge of pulling up all the wire stories and turning it into copy by the time the morning anchor got in, the DJ who would read the news during the top of the hour. So I started at KEZR, and then I started at KCBS. Like you said in the intro, my senior year in college, I started in February at KCBS, and I graduated in May. So I actually got my first job there right before graduation, which was a big relief.
Did you always want to be a journalist?
You know, I first wanted to be a sportscaster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was really into sports in high school, you know, 3-sport athlete, and thought I wanted to do some kind of sideline reporting or maybe even, you know, sports journalism. But the more I got into college and the more I got into events in college, I think I got more into social-minded things and news events and decided that I would try that out.
What made you want to do broadcasting instead of maybe print?
Well, I minored in broadcasting at San Jose State, so that's kind of where they taught us all the broadcast stuff. So that was where I kind of had my college background in when I went to start applying for jobs, which I got the KCBS job because I came to a job fair in San Francisco from San Jose State. They bussed us all up there. They paid the $50 fee for us to get in, and that was in October. And they just told us to bring our resumes, you know, look decent, and that there would be a bunch of booths with different media outlets there. So KCBS was one of them. CNN was there, and that was when CNN was still pretty young. That was back in '93. So people were flocking to the CNN booth. They really, you know, all the college students wanted to work there. And I think I dropped a resume off there, and I just, you know, had a stack of them. But I dropped one off at KCBS, and, you know, months passed. I didn't even really think of it, but it was a day off, you know, kind of a field trip from school. And then sure enough, about 5 months later, I got a call from the manager, Todd Smoot, who said, "Do you want to come in for an interview?" And I did, and then they offered me a job part-time. And then when I graduated in May, it went to full-time as a production assistant.
Wow. And then you went to Cron 4, CBS 5, and back to KCBS. Why did you decide to go back after like 17 years?
Well, yeah, I kind of went full circle there. Well, I started at Cron because I started traffic reporting when I was working at KCBS full-time as a production assistant, and then I moved on to the editor's desk within about 6 months, so I had a full-time job on the editor's desk. I wanted to try to do some on-air work, and it just so happened that Shadow Broadcasting is a separate company that provides traffic reporters for a bunch of different radio stations around the Bay Area. So I sent them an audition tape. I knew the manager there because he contracted with people to provide traffic reports for KCBS. So he hired me for the weekends to do 2 shifts per weekend, and it just so happened that the radio station that I was doing the traffic reports for was KCBS. But I wasn't working as an on-air person for KCBS. It was through Shadow Broadcasting that I was on the air, paid separately, and then working behind the scenes as a KCBS employee. And then I decided that that was too much for me to handle 2 jobs at once. So I quit KCBS thinking I was going to pursue on-air, and within a few months, Channel 4 had an opening for an afternoon traffic reporter. So I sent a videotape to that one, and that was my first, you know, foray into that arena, and got the job at Cron, worked there for 5 years, doing, and then eventually started doing reports for them. And then I got a job, after I got laid off from Cron, I got a job doing full-time reporting at Channel 5. And then I had a family after 6 years, and that got to be a little bit much. I was the morning reporter, so I was waking up at 2:30 in the morning,
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off,
Oh,
but
that's
that's
okay.
all the time we have. If you want to listen to Anna on the air, make sure you tune in to KCBS on 740 AM or 106.9 FM. Thank you for joining us, and good night.